Okay, welcome everybody. Apparently, it's been too long since I've done a Zoom meeting. We're going to whip through a bunch of information because I know many of you have not been to festival. Then there will be lots of time for you to ask questions that hopefully we can answer. And if we can't, we will send you somewhere to get answers. So, all right, trying this again. All right, I think you can see my screen. Let's have a thumbs up if you can. Except I can't see any of you anyway. So, okay, cool. I'm going to suggest why don't you put questions in the chat if you have them? Maybe kind of wait till we get going through, just in case we answer them anyway. But we're going to move forward. So this is us that you met. And if you haven't been to a gala festival, it is a pretty exciting and crazy event. We currently have 6,000 people registered, and we are expecting fully to reach 7,000 for this event, which will be the largest gala festival we have ever hosted, which is pretty darn fun. We have about 120 choruses that are coming. It is approximately 220 concerts in 5 days. So it's a crazy fun week. And we have this little village that we created that will be where all of these events are happening. So we'll walk you through that as well. Okay. So the festival week is kind of a crazy week. There is a lot going on. So as you log into your Integra Planner, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. You will be able to see all of your chorus rehearsals that are happening, all of the blockbuster concerts, and then these blue things right in here are your actual chorus concerts. So there's a lot happening this week, and we're going to show you how to access that information. This is the opening day. So you'll see that there are events in PV Plaza on the opening day. There will be live bands, some international performing groups that will be on this stage as you arrive. There are also lots of rehearsals happening. So rehearsals, especially for the festival choruses, the choruses that are made up of individuals. And many of you have already scheduled your own chorus rehearsals on that day as well. So these are some of the groups that we're hoping that you will get to enjoy on that stage. There will also be food trucks along the road near Orchestra Hall, and just a big old party happening. Now, if you think your schedule looks crazy, this is some of the schedule that I get to look at. So, and I'm telling you this just so you know that there are a lot of moving parts. And as we schedule your maybe chorus rehearsals that you have requested, as we schedule tech rehearsals for blockbusters, just know that sometimes there's going to be overlap and there'll be conflicts between events that you need to be at, or maybe your singers are in a festival chorus that rehearses at the same time as your tech rehearsal. That's okay. Feel free to just tell your singers if there's a conflict, they need to be at your tech rehearsal or whatever. You know, they can step out of a festival chorus rehearsal for a half hour or an hour if they need to. So this is a diagram of the Minneapolis Convention Center. And I'm just going to give you a little tour of the various stages. So this is the MCC Auditorium stage. It's our largest hall. We'll be talking about it. Right beside there is a stage for ensembles and some other smaller choirs that will be performing there. Directly across the street is Central Lutheran Church, if you are assigned to that particular stage. I know some of you have already signed up for housing. The Hyatt Regency is just across the street this way. The Hilton Hotel is across the street this way. And then basically as the crow flies, about a block and a half is Orchestra Hall and PV Plaza. And Kathleen, suggested that I just give you a little overview of the halls again, in case these are halls that you haven't seen before. So this is a stage at Central Lutheran Church. It seats about 1,800. You'll see here that we will have coral shells behind there and screens to project your introductory video. Beautiful, beautiful organ, 2 organs in this space, which you are allowed to use as an artistic director. So be sure to request those in your production form. We'll talk about that also, if that's something you're interested in using. All the information about these stages, about those organs, are on the festival website. You can go in and look at all the tech specs for all these stages. This is Orchestra Hall. It seats about 2,000 people. Those risers are sort of wooden steps that go up this way. This hall the capacity is about 275. Also on this website, you'll be able to see that every performance hall will have a grand piano. It will have a drum kit that will roll in and out, and we'll have a bass amp and a guitar amp and microphones, everything you need to perform. And this is the convention center stage. So this was the hall that I started showing you at the very beginning with the map. This is our largest audience at about 3,400, almost 3,500 seats. And these risers go kind of back in a triangle. They're 3-foot platforms if you want to be planning how you want to configure your chorus on the stage. Again, grand piano, drum kit, and everything you need. This is the most accessible hall. Choruses here will enter on a 1 flat level, walk in through the stage, and exit again through a very flat level. And this is the ballroom where the ensembles and smaller choruses perform. We have a number of choruses who registered a little bit late, and they are in this space. And that's what this actually, I'm going to show you here again. We're going to use part of this stage, but then bring a thrust out in front of the stage. So it's actually not drawn correctly here, but that's what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to pass to Kathleen to talk about the chorus performances.
All right, so hopefully you've been tracking that each chorus gets 30 minutes on stage, but that includes getting on stage, anything you have to say, all of the applause, and getting off stage. So roughly that can be around 24 minutes of music, depending, of course, on if you do things like segue between songs with no applause, or if you're a really large group and take a long time to get on, or if you're a smaller group and can, I don't know, sprint on stage. But we recommend somewhere around 24 minutes of music to balance that out. Just remember that any instrument you use, moving the piano, bringing your own instruments on, tuning notes, those will all take out of your time. So we really need to be respectful of everyone and make sure that we are not, make sure that we are well within that time. You should all hopefully have seen the instrumentalist requests. Those have gone out. Jane, has the due date hit for that yet? I just noticed it's on this slide. Are we talking about?
Yeah, I have another slide later. We'll talk about that in more detail.
Okay. Perfect. And you've already seen what's on the stage. For each course, you only get a 15-minute tech rehearsal. Do not plan to run your whole set. Check your levels, start and stop, practice getting on and off, figure out where you're going to stand. As far as like where, there's a question in the chat about where the piano is, like stage right versus stage left. I'm assuming that we can move things around, but it takes time and people. What's the story for that, Jane?
Yeah, the piano, we'll go through the diagram when we get a little farther in the presentation. My memory is that the piano is centered stage left, but I'm going to look that up. And then if you want to move it, you can. You just need to let the tech people know ahead of time. And again, that comes out of your particular set time.
Fantastic. For those tech rehearsals, you're really, really going to want to make sure that all of your people are absolutely on time and ready to go, because that 15 minutes will absolutely fly by. We can go to the next slide. Ensembles, of course, are 15-minute sets with only a 10-minute tech rehearsal. Again, think ahead about how you want to organize that time and prep your singers so they know that that's not going to be their time to, answer questions or ask questions and hang out and take your time. I really, really think it's important to practice those, especially for folks that aren't used to those real kind of intense scheduled things. I know some courses are a little bit more chill than that in their home life. Hopefully, if you've already handled your collaborations and signed up for those, and of course, we will make sure that your individual chorus is not scheduled at the same time as your chorus ensemble. And again, all of that is available in the Integra Planner, so you can double check your times and be prepped for them. We have a special guest. Deke Sharon's going to be there. I know some groups are signed up for that. I have one question, Jane. Are any of those going to be open for people to watch the coaching?
It's a great question. So we have, I think 6 or 7 ensembles that signed up for Deke. By the way, one of them has not confirmed their time. So if they don't, I'm going to give it to somebody else because Deke is there and ready to work. So if you are interested in being an alternative ensemble to work with Deke, let us know. But yes, this will be in a space where artistic directors, actually anybody, can sit and watch him coaching with these ensembles. I've seen him work. He's amazing and fantastic. Yes.
Very high energy. Make sure to get your sleep the night before or drink coffee if you're a coffee drinker, because you're going to want to keep up. All right, about the programming. One of the really big things that we've talked about this year is encouraging folks to make sure that you are looking at your set holistically. Who are you showcasing? Are we making sure that we're centering lots of different voices? Are we programming music from people of color and trans voices? Making sure that the set in and of itself is entertaining. If you think about sitting in an auditorium as an audience member and watching chorus after chorus after chorus, we want to go on a little ride for every single performance. And from experience and from talking with lots of folks, this is a much larger audience than some people have ever performed for. So making sure that the singers feel really comfortable, that you're not bringing those pieces that are barely hanging on by their fingernails, things that represent the chorus well, and that the singers will feel really good about, they feel well rehearsed on. The other thing I feel obligated to state here is that this is one of the most supportive audiences that you'll sing for. Applause may last longer than you anticipate. So when you're scheduling your program, just remember that there's a lot of love in the room. Yeah, and I'm available. Joe is available for advice around this. If you just want to talk through it and say, how does this sound to you? Make sure that, like I said, we're taking the audience on a little ride. It does become challenging if you sing, 4 ballads in a row, or sing all serious music, or sing all bells and whistles music. It's really nice to have some variation in that. I mentioned this at the beginning, but we had a couple sessions about this, which are available to watch. But really, absolutely, as we grow as an organization, we're the ones, artistic directors, who are showing one another where our focus is. So really think critically. If you have questions, please reach out. If you're not sure if something feels appropriate, or you're trepidation about it, reach out. Okay, we did mention how quickly tech rehearsals go. This just talks a little bit about it. I really like, one thing I didn't mention that's on this slide is you're welcome to bring a buddy into the room, or if you have an assistant or you have a trusted ear in your group, send them back to the back of the room, make sure that it sounds balanced. Check out your solos, make sure that the piano, seems to balance with your group. Obviously, we'll have professionals there running the sound, but let's make sure that what is in your head gets out to the audience. We will continue to encourage you to keep things as simple as possible, again, with those very short tech rehearsals. If you're hiring a musician, make sure that you are well communicating so you can get in your rehearsal time. So that part of it feels great. But remember, anything you move, any people, any instruments, that's all going to come out of your stage time. So this little picture on this slide shows a full orchestra. Don't do that. And there are always unknowns, right? So we just want to do our best for that. A lot of choruses have their own ASL interpreters, and we've made room for that to be the case. There will also be a list of certified interpreters if you'd like to collaborate with one there. In the chat, the question is, will we have access to this PowerPoint?
Sure. Yes.
Happy to. And we're also recording this if you want to get the whole thing. I know we're going through it fast.
Yeah.
We're especially going through this stuff fast that we've kind of talked about before. If we bring a musician and they're not a chorus member, do they just show up at our tech rehearsal to get into the venue at the performance? So if we're bringing somebody that's not a registered person, can they just come with us backstage into things if they're not going to attend anything else?
They will need some kind of badge to get in, because the only way you'll get in backstage is if you have a delegate badge. So you'll need to, I think, let Robin or Sue know that. We have their addresses down below, so
That's a
that
great question.
that can be worked out. Yeah, excellent question.
Kathleen, the other question about that, and I just want to mention this too, is that the question is how early do you show up for tech rehearsal and or the performance? And it's my understanding, and Jane, you can, or Kathleen, you could talk about this, is that built into that schedule, there's a warm-up period and then there's like an on-call period. Is that correct? And so you'll why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, that's a good point. So at your tech rehearsal, you will you'll be called a half hour before your time on stage, and you will actually meet at your warm-up room. So you'll have a chance to just sort of get used to where that room is. And then you will take all of your things with you and you will go backstage. When you get back there, we will have, I mean, it's nice if you have like a chorus spouse or somebody that can come along and help carry badges and phones, but your singer should have nothing else backstage. So they will collect those things in some bags, wait till you come off of stage, and then make sure that you have them on the other side. If you don't have an extra person to walk with you backstage, we have some, I forget what we call them, chorus guides, who will be assigned to your chorus. They will meet you at the warm-up room. They will walk you to the stage. They'll meet you after your performance, and they'll get you off stage as well. So that's kind of your person to lean on. You'll have that for your tech rehearsal, and then you'll also have that person for your performance.
There's also a question about if tech rehearsals for coffee concerts and blockbusters, how long those are. Those are longer than the chorus, because we need to do more sound and more lights and things like that.
Yeah, coffee concert people, you should have that in your Integra schedule, but I think your tech is like 90 minutes maybe. It's already in, yeah, so check your Integra schedule for that. For blockbuster concerts, if you're singing in a blockbuster, there will be probably about a 2-hour tech, which is also in your schedule, but obviously you don't need to be there the whole time. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the blockbusters.
That sounds great.
Okay, and I think I was going to take this one. If you haven't already, you may request rehearsal space. It's basically a room in the festival area where you can rehearse with your chorus once you get to Minneapolis. The prices are here. There's a webpage all about how it works. They can be reserved in 30-minute blocks. there are several of these rooms that actually have, I mean, all the rooms will have a piano, a keyboard, chairs, that kind of thing. There are a few rooms that have drum kit, bass amp, that sort of thing. So when you reserve your space, when you put in that request, you will get a little form for you to check off to say exactly what you need in that room. That will determine which room you get assigned to. And I would suggest if you want one of the want a rehearsal room and you haven't reserved it yet, do it really soon, because the longer you wait, the more these are going to fill up. So you may not get your first choice of timing, or you may not get your first choice of, what you need in that.
Where are the rehearsals held?
In rooms in the convention center and in the Hilton Hotel and in the Hyatt.
And they're just like a bunch of keyboards that are going to be available there?
Yep.
Great.
Keyboards, stands, all that. Yeah. Okay. Blockbusters. I don't know why they're called blockbusters. It was an idea that appeared somewhere as a way to do something different than the regular concert blocks, 30-minute concert blocks that happen all afternoon. So these are themed concerts. Many of you are already signed up to perform a song or two in one of these. There are a few spaces left, but mostly these are filled already. But they're pretty much 2 per night, and they'll be really, really fun concerts for your chorus to attend or perform in. This is also where our festival choruses perform. I should have had that slide up. There they are. Festival choruses are choruses that your individual singers can sign up to perform in. And I would really encourage you to promote those to your singers, because it's a fun way to get to know people from actually all across the world. People will be singing in these. Voces Latinas is a festival chorus of Latin and South American music. There's a trans and non-binary chorus for people who identify as trans and non-binary. Prime Elders, whoops, not supposed to say sage, but this is Prime Elders chorus. That's for people over 65-ish or, around there. Gen Z chorus for ages 14 to 21. A queer gospel choir, and this one's conducted by Eric Williamson, who conducts Lavender Light. And then Molte Voces is a choir just for everybody else, anybody who wants to sing. I'm going to go backwards a little bit. So your chorus, your ensemble, we're just putting this sign up out soon, but they may also sign up to participate in outdoor concerts that happen during the evenings. They can sign up for the individuals for the festival chorus. That's what I was just describing. On Friday, the 12th, there is an event called the Transfusion Cabaret, and that will be a space that trans and non-binary people can perform solo, duets, ensembles, whatever. It's open to all audiences, but performers will be trans and non-binary. And then the Blockbusters, which we already talked about.
As you're swapping over to the next page, if for some reason you have been invited to participate in a Blockbuster and that does not appear on your schedule in Integra, just send a note to your Blockbuster producer and Jane just to make sure that everything is on the square there.
Good. That's a good point. Okay. Actually, it's the 12th. It's not the 13th. There's an event called the Choral Carnival. And this is where we are doing a series of events all over the downtown festival area of Minneapolis. There will be a queer beer choir. This is when the Transfusion Cabaret happens. There will be a dance. There will be choral movies showing. We're going to do a Meet the Composer event sponsored by the American Composers Forum. So we'll have the lobby filled with tables and composers that you're going to get to meet. And then we have some amazing professional and semi-professional choirs here in the Twin Cities, and many of them will be performing on that night. So put that on your calendar. It's going to be a great event. And we haven't even talked about the workshops. So every morning there are 2 sets of workshops. If you have non-singing volunteers, encourage them to come to festival because the workshops are excellent. There will be workshops for artistic directors, but also for volunteers, for your administrative volunteers or staff, and for singers. So bring them along. Youth choruses, I can't see the list at the moment, so I don't know if we have any youth chorus participants here, but there is a whole separate and integrated festival for youth choruses. And there's a special chorus, as I mentioned, a festival chorus we're calling it the Gen Z chorus. So if you have singers in your chorus who are 14 to 21, encourage them to sign up for the Gen Z chorus. It's a festival chorus. It's just a way for them to be able to hang out with some people their own age. Okay, is anybody overwhelmed? Wave at me. Oh, we're looking pretty good. Okay. So, reminder, there are all these things happening at festival during the week. And it's important that you can find when you are performing and where you need to be. So each of your concerts, these little blue things are concert designations. And then the light blue above them are call times. So you'll see that in this particular concert set, this is when it starts, but the first choir is called 45 minutes before. 30 minutes before your tech, you'll be called, and 45 minutes before your concert, you'll be called. So you'll actually have about 20 minutes to sing and warm up before your concert in that space. These little green rehearsals here, these are rehearsals that choirs have paid for rehearsal time. So they are in various parts of hotel spaces, hotel meeting rooms, or the convention center. And this is our block of workshops. Okay, when you log into Integra, and I'm going to do that today, just to sort of show you what you'll be able to see. Every event that you have, excuse me, that you have coming up should be listed in Integra. The other way, probably in about 4 weeks, that you'll be able to access your schedule is through a phone app. And it's just called the Festival Integra mobile app. There will be a link for it on the website and instructions for how you get into that information. So it will list your own events, but you'll also be able to see every concert that's happening. And not only that, but once all the artistic directors have entered your songs, you'll actually be able to see their complete concert program, and you can put a little heart on the songs you like. But it's a really nice way to track what's happening. It's a great way for your singers to track their own rehearsal and tech time. So you can make sure that they are at the right place at the right time. Okay, so you saw this crazy schedule, right? We have tried to look for overlaps. Like the chorus performing at the same time that your ensemble's performing, but we need you to go in and just make sure there aren't any issues with performance or tech times. We also need you to go, Kathleen just said this, but look for any blockbuster or any other additional performances that you know are confirmed, but may not actually show up there. All the rehearsal spaces that have been requested are now scheduled, so those should be there. And are there any overlapping issues, any conflicts that you see? If you see any of that kind of stuff, send it to me and we will get it fixed, or we'll tell you we can't get it fixed. So for example, just yesterday, there were 2 singers that were singing in 2 concerts and their tech rehearsals were conflicting. If it's 2 singers out of 7,000, we're not going to change that schedule, just to be clear, right? But we will shift and move things if it involves a large group of people or your whole chorus. Okay, I wanted to give you a little tour of what it looks like when you log into the Integra app. So I just put myself in as an individual so that I would have a view like yours. When you first log in, to Integra, you have both a personal dashboard, and assuming you're an administrator as an artistic director or an ED or liaison, then that's that dashboard. So my personal dashboard looks something like this. It shows all the events that I am signed up to participate in festival. And mine's a little crazy here, but one of the things we want you to do especially is to look, make sure everything of yours is actually listed here. And then secondly, to make sure that there aren't any conflicts. So I put in a dummy conflict here. But for example, there is, I don't remember what it is, but I put in essentially, here it is, an ensemble rehearsal that's happening at the same time as my chorus call and chorus concert. And I can see that because it says I'm performing at 3 p.m. here. And then my call time for the full chorus is at 2:45. So just look through these. Oh, here's my call time. Just look through these and make sure that everything is listed for you as an individual. And then your administrator dashboard shows these are the calls and the rehearsals for your entire chorus. The other thing that's kind of helpful about Integra is over here on the right, there's a menu. So if you want to order something like additional rehearsal time, you go to the online store. And then you can purchase your banner. If you want a banner, you can purchase rehearsal space. You can purchase consigned merchandise. So that's if you want to sell CDs or hot pads or stickers or t-shirts, whatever you want to do. So that's just a little bit of information about the Integra app. This is of course, the online app, and then there will also be the phone app that we talked about. If you end up emailing the gala staff, please figure out who is your contact to gala. So that's primarily your role, maybe your festival liaison's role. It gets really confusing when random singers write to us and ask for things. And let me tell you, the number of times that a singer has asked for something and it's not something that the artistic director wants is often. So just kind of keep your singers under control. I'm going to encourage you also to first check the gala website, and there's an FAQ page. Really, really helpful. I'm going to just talk you through how the search function works there, but check there first for your answers, and then call us, and we're glad to help if you can't find it there. Include your chorus name in the subject line. It's just, that's super helpful to help me and our staff track who we're talking to, and be nice. Yeah, because it doesn't always happen in the emails that come. And now everyone's favorite topic. Take it away, Kathleen.
I can't wait. Also, there's a quick question in the chat. I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this, Jane, but do we know if the venues have free Wi-Fi? I think that'll especially be for folks who don't have a in-house, in-country plan with data.
Yes. The venues, I'm sure, will not have a free Wi-Fi. I mean, the hotels probably will. The venues probably won't. And if they did, it wouldn't work anyway with 7,000 people trying to access it. So
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, not fantastic, but that's the
not
reality.
Fantastic, but thank you for,
Yes.
clarifying. All right, what about copyright stuff? In essence, it is your responsibility to make sure that every single piece of music that you bring is legal and that there is documentation so that we know that it's legal. It is important. We are going to stream and have available for viewing later our performances. And the last thing we want is any kind of trouble, any kind of legal trouble, any kind of lawsuits. Not to mention, it's obviously just the kind of right and moral thing to do for a best practices standpoint. So, for example, if you have a custom arrangement, you'll need in writing permission from the copyright holder for those custom arrangements. Grand rights are challenging. That means if there is a dramatic performance, which is defined as accompanied by dialogue, pantomime, dance, stage action, or visual representation of the work from which the music is taken. I know that's kind of confusing. Really be careful with characterization from musicals. We want to make sure that we're not using, dramatic scenes and things like that. Mechanical rights probably won't, like, we need to make sure that we have all of the information for all of that. I don't think that there's a way for your chorus to distribute for free or sell a recording of your festival concert, correct, Jane? That line is a little
Interesting. No, that is definitely not possible.
Yeah, so please don't stick somebody in the back of the hall to record. We will be streaming, and we'll do our best to make that available after the fact on YouTube is the current plan, if it's not changed, correct? Okay, fantastic. So you need to make sure that you've paid the performance rights as well. So this is your, annual or 4 times a year payments that you work out with BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC, etc. You need to make sure that, oh, so I'm sorry, I misread that. Gaelic
Yes.
Horses will handle the performance rights.
That's right. You buy the music. Yeah, that's right.
So we don't need to include this performance in our annual payments to the performance rights organizations. I hope that was clear. All right. If you have published music, this is the easiest thing to do, because all you will need to do is submit a receipt for us. If you don't have a receipt and you have legal hard copies of the music, you can send us a picture of the music fanned out like it is on this slide, which means a color photograph. Look at this with all the people. Why do we care that it's in color? Because we want to make sure that they are not photocopies. So this is just, the different ways that we can make sure that it's legal. If you have ordered music PDF, then you should also have a PDF receipt. If you don't have it, you can usually go back into your account and request one. We really do need a paper trail for all of that. If you have an unpublished score, if you have a commission, if you have a manuscript, again, we need a paper trail. So your contract should be attached that shows permission to perform. If you need to, you can go and request a letter from the copyright holder of the song. Make sure that that is, music and lyrics as is necessary for the work that you are performing. The image at the bottom of the slide shows the sort of thing that you will be entering into the system. So you'll say, is this a published piece? Is this an unpublished manuscript? Who is the copyright holder? Who is the contact? You'll verify that you have permission, and then you will attach proof of that permission. Similar with custom arrangements, we need a paper trail. We need to see it. Fortunately, those of you who have been working with Sheet Music Plus / Arrange Me, they have made that a much easier way to do it than some of our former routes to obtain permission. So if you don't know about that, please reach out to me and we can walk through it. But again, permission to arrange can only be granted by the original copyright holder. If an arranger tells you that they have permission, we need it in writing, we need it in writing, we need it in writing. And it needs to be directly tied to your chorus, not permission to arrange for a different chorus. This is not the sort of place that you can borrow like you would a physical published copy of sheet music. If the piece that you're doing is believed to be in public domain, please submit a copy of the score that shows original score showing appropriate publication date prior to 1924. Sometimes this requires a little bit of sleuthing. However, there is a searchable database online. Some scores in that library are not considered public domain in the United States. These are noted on their website. So it will say public domain or non-public domain to the US. Double, triple check for these sorts of things. Here is a screenshot showing an example of public domain at IMSLP.
And Kathleen, oh, no, we have one more screen, and then I'll talk a little bit about, no, this is a good place to talk about it. You might be wondering, why are we going to all of this work to have you all enter your songs and your copyright information? There is a really good reason, and that is back a little before our last festival in 2016, there were actually some lawsuits that were put against festivals and choirs that were performing songs from Xeroxed music. So this is really a way to protect you, a way that it's actually just good practice anyway, but this is a way to protect both the festival and you, and make sure that everything we're bringing is coming with permission from whoever owns the copyright.
And a lot of these organizations do actually send people out to look at videos online, and they're like, oh, we're the only people that sells this piece of music. We sold that chorus 12 pieces of music, and I see 80 people singing it, and lawsuits do follow from that.
Robin Godfrey will actually go through all of your submissions, and I think she gets some help with that too. But she'll check all the scores, all the permissions, and then there will be a place where it will say, you can see right here, it says pending. Eventually, all of your songs will say approved, unless they aren't. And then you know that you are good to go. We will also do some things like I will look through the song lists for duplicates. So if 50 people are performing Born This Way, what was that the song? I'll just let all 50 of you know. You can still perform it. It's not a problem, but we just want to give a heads up to folks in case they want to switch it out for something else. If your a piece that you upload does not say approved by the time you arrive at festival, you will not be able to perform that song. Okay.
Speaking of deadlines, the question just came, when is the copyright information due?
Okay. That's a good question. And to answer it, I'm going to take you on a little journey.
It will include where the form is located, yes?
Yes. Okay. Is this full screen on what you're seeing? Sort of. You can see my screen, right? All right. Somebody tell me yes.
Yes.
All right. So this is the best way to find, there are two best ways to find information that you might need for festival. When you go to the festival website, here's the homepage. The place that I most frequently navigate to is right here to the left, and it says prepare and deadlines. Now, did my screen change? Are you all seeing? Yes, we are on the same screen. The first section is for individuals, so be sure to send your chorus members here. But if you click on the information for chorus leaders, it takes us down the page. So the introduction to festival, this is where this recording and this PowerPoint will be. Please move this window away from, can you see it?
It just looks like there's a little gray square at the top of your page.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of it. Deadlines for choruses right here. So the deadlines coming up are February 1 was the deadline to submit instrumental requests. I've sent lots of notices about it, so hopefully you are on top of this. Requests after this date will be filled according to availability. So it's the same thing as booking rehearsal spaces. The sooner you get it in, the more likely it is that you'll get the instrumentalist that you're looking for. On February 1, the booking for larger room blocks opened. So that's courses that want, a significant block of rooms within a single hotel. And I believe today at 2:00 that closed. Tomorrow, the general housing reservations open. So I'd encourage you to get right on there and request your hotel rooms. Gala staff are not going to be able to help you with that. There's a whole page that describes how it works, but Minneapolis Convention Housing Services is the group that organizes all the hotels and hotel reservations. Robin says they are very responsive by phone and by email. So if you have any trouble, feel free to pick up the phone or email them, and they will help you out. At the end of March, that's when we're going to say is the very, very last date to request your rehearsal spaces. If you are a chorus that wants to purchase a banner that will hang along Nicollet Avenue in Minneapolis, that's that date. If you have CDs or other merch that you want to sell in the Gala store, that's when those items are due as well. So that's March 31 for those. And then the very next day, April 1, April 1, that is when Integra will open, and you will be able to start entering your song list, your copyright information, your production diagrams. So you will get a diagram of your stage, and you'll draw on there. This is where I want the music stand, or I want the piano moved to this side. So that's when it opens, and then you have a full month to get everything in. But by May 1, we all that information needs to be into Integra. That's also when your 1-minute chorus video is due. Oh, Kathleen, I didn't put that in the slide. So let's talk about that in a little bit. That's when the instrumentalist manager is going to need your actual PDF scores. And then we're into festival, people. July 10, that's when we begin. Come early, enjoy the Minnesota Mosaic performances, and we close. The closing concert is on the 14th. Okay, so that's one way.
The 14th is a Sunday, which might feel irregular to some people. So a lot of folks are going to want to stay over Sunday night. You might want to remind your folks who are accustomed to festivals ending on, Saturday nights, that they might want a room through Sunday night.
Good point. Good point. So this is one way, this menu is one way to search for things, but do you see the search button right over here? This is a super fast way to search. So for example, I'm going to search copyright. And everything that Kathleen just went to is right here under copyright compliance. So before Integra even opens, you can use this as a reference point and go through and make sure that you have everything in place for all of your songs. Makes sense? I'm going to do another search because I can. Performance hall. Okay, so here are our performance halls. And you can see every stage has a picture of the stage you're going to be on. It has a short description. It's got a stage diagram, technical guidelines, actual individual photos of the hall and backstage spaces. At the very top, there is a link to this right here, this equipment outline. And this shows you for every stage, grand piano, stage right. So I was backwards. All the instruments that will be available for you on stage, the audio that's on stage, and the kind of lighting that's available and specials and that sort of thing. So this is a really great place to go If you need information. Oh, okay, we're going to close that up. What was the other thing I wanted to show you? Oh, I'm going to just do a search for FAQ, frequently asked questions. So down here, this is a really great festival informational page. So it pretty much describes how your people should register if they haven't, about privacy, about costs and discounts. Can you bring children, housing stuff? And then there are links at the very bottom for who to contact if you have additional questions. I'm going to show you just one more page, and that is schedule. So when I'm looking up a course's performance schedule, if I don't want to log into Integra, this schedule page right here is a really fast way to see an overall of the whole festival at the whole schedule at festival. But then also down here, I can search for any chorus and bring up information about when they're performing. So I'm going to search for Our Song in Atlanta. Their performance day is Friday the 12th at 2 o'clock. Their tech rehearsal is Wednesday at whatever that is, 3 o'clock. Shows you what venue they're in, etc. Okay. I'm hoping that helps you understand the website a little more clearly.
Can we talk about those intro videos?
Yes. Every chorus is asked to have a 1-minute intro video. And at Festival 2016, they were just a fun way to sort of get your chorus on, cover some of the movement time when your chorus came on stage. And they were everything from done on an iPhone to like polished, incredible videos. But I think some of my favorite videos were ones that showed, told a little bit about the mission of the organization and where they sang, and or maybe something about their history in 1 minute. But this gave us a little snapshot of who your chorus is. I'm going to pull up that video info page. Joe, do you remember other parts of what you saw in videos?
Oh, no, it was just like you said, we had the gamut of quality and sort of technology abilities, and it's just to introduce your chorus like you would normally have there. You would want to include like the names of your staff, artistic staff, and those type of stuff sometimes, perhaps in that video. But yeah, it's all over the place. But it's a great opportunity for you to get the audience familiar with your chorus.
And just a word of caution, that is not a place to put music, because that would also then need to be licensed and all of those things, right?
You are right. Jane, I think you're muted.
So I just did a search for chorus videos, and here is a whole page of describing how the videos work, what length and format they should be in. There's a link so you can watch some of the videos from the last festival. Don't sweat it. It's just a fun thing. And it's fun to see what they submit.
There's a question about videos. So it says that ensembles are not required to have them. Does that mean that there is no video capability for ensembles, or is it just not a requirement?
There is capability for videos. My memory from a staff meeting a couple of weeks ago was that since ensemble sets are so short and groups are small, we kind of guessed you wouldn't want to spend a whole minute of your time showing a video. So I think for that reason, I wonder if this page says it. We are not doing, I'm gonna double check on that one, but I'm pretty sure it's just choruses.
So there's a question about music rights for videos. We would not recommend that because that gets into the realm of synchronization licenses, which can get very expensive very quickly. I would say, you know, probably best to avoid that. There may be some things like public domain, but I would just generally advise against trying to put music in those intro videos. Unless it's something you wrote yourself, then, you know, cool.
So I am looking and I can put it on. Aha, it is here. Good. I'm just going to read it rather than showing my screen. No video may show your chorus singing copyrighted material for any length of time unless you've obtained the rights. Learn more at blah, 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 blah. However, there are some websites that have just Creative Commons shared background music, and those are totally fair game. So I'm going to ask Paul to put a link to that kind of music on this site. Or sometimes if you know that, like if you've commissioned a composer or you know the composer and you can get permission from them, then that's totally legit to use that kind of a song in your video.
Is that something that there will be a box to check somewhere, or is that going to be a separate email that we need to send to someone?
No, I was afraid you were going to ask that. I don't know the answer, but I'm marking that down too, and I'll make sure it's listed in this page. I see Paul is suggesting a video that featured your chorus singing a greeting. Oh, that's kind of cool. Interviews with members of your chorus, talks about your history, describes the history of the music that you're going to be performing at festival. That's a nice idea too. All right, what other questions do you have? You can unmute.
Hey, Jane, I do have a just not a question, but a sort of a clarification. The programs for the festival, so the programs that we would have all the listed pieces and stuff, can you just talk a little bit about how that is being handled at festivals so that people know?
My understanding is that there will not be a printed program because we are saving the earth. So it will all be in the app and it will be in Integra. I believe, man, you've got all these good questions. I believe there will be a PDF version that people could use for reference. Does that sound right, Joe?
That is, yes. I think that's where I was going.
Okay.
In years past, we've given folks the option of purchasing a printed program,
right.
but I don't know if that's going to, I don't think that's going to be an option this time.
That is not an option. I know that for sure.
Everything is going to be PDF electronic.
Yep. Good. What other questions?
There's one in the chat. It says, if we realize after submitting our rep that there are a lot of choruses singing the same piece and want to change it, what's the process? Can we switch it out, etc.?
Yeah. Yes, you will be able to switch it out. I think the Integra app will be closed by May 1, but if that is an issue, you would just notify one of us. We could open it up for you long enough to upload a new piece of music. I mean, sometimes it's fun to hear different choirs sing the same piece, right? And sometimes it's not. So I think it's a matter of of deciding, you know, how many choirs is it? And are you bringing something that you think is particularly unique in terms of the way you'll be performing it?
I seem to recall in festival and when we were in Minneapolis. No, we're not Minneapolis.
Denver.
Canada, in Montreal. So many choruses performed Dieu et ton by Morton Lauritsen. It was like every other chorus had that on their list. It was like, okay, time for a new piece.
I have a question.
Yes, for what song it's going to be this time, but I'm not going to say it.
Allison has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I recall in earlier program books, it was not only what we were singing, but also a little background in the chorus. Will this PDF include that? Should we prepare something with a word limit, or what do we know about that?
That is a great question. when you enter your song information into Integra, there's also a marketing tab, and you'll have a little paragraph that you can put it right into Integra. So when I come to your concert, I'm going to click on your chorus name in the order of the concert. I'm going to be able to read a description about you and where you're from, who your staff, your artistic director and staff are, and then a list of the songs. And you click on the songs, and then you also get the composers, how to purchase that song, that kind of thing. It's really a great system, especially for artistic directors, to like pick up music that you might want to perform.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. All right. Look at that. 3 minutes past the hour. Thank you to Kathleen. Joe, do you want to add anything else? And thank you to you as well, Joe.
Oh, no, I think it's great to see all your faces and, or some of your faces anyway. And I'm just looking forward to hearing all of these wonderful choruses in July.
John, as a new idea, I want to make all of the morning informational meetings. Oh, are you talking about the workshops, John? I'm going to guess that John's talking about workshops. Yes, if you're not attending the morning concerts, you should be able to attend 2 workshops every morning. So there's a 9 o'clock and a 10:30 slot, I believe. And the workshop request for proposals just went out. I saw it maybe last week. So if you want to present a workshop, that's open as well.
And Jane, I also just want to mention real quick too, and I think Kathleen mentioned this before too, and that is, as someone who's going to be performing at festival, we all won't be able to experience everything. We're gonna have to make choices. But festival is streaming everything this year, and so you can get your YouTube streaming. I think it's $35, and you will have access to every performance at festival. So encourage your singers and encourage each of you to purchase that $35 YouTube sort of a streaming fee, and you will have access after festival, during festival, to experience all these amazing performances.
Joe, thank you. That is so important. Encourage your singers, encourage your mother, encourage my brother who lives in Africa. Like, all of those people can watch festival. It's going to be incredible. Maureen, what's your question? You're on mute, Maureen.
How long you purchase the streaming plan? How long do you have to use that?
Do you want to take that, Joe?
I believe it's going to be available in perpetuity. So you should have access to this forever. So as long as you purchase the and like if you go to festival and you like, and all the other things you forgot to do this, you can still purchase that, I believe, post festival as well. So if your family or somebody wasn't able to be there wants to experience it, they can also purchase it and experience it as well.
John or somebody asked which days are the workshops. So the opening day is Wednesday. Workshops will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. So you can take in 8 workshops, and oh no, those won't be live broadcast. So yeah.
I think the only last thing that I have to say is, who do we talk to about which questions?
The frequently asked questions page, the FAQ page that I took you to, at the very bottom, there's a ton of information. And at the very bottom, it says, for questions about this, go here. And then there's a link to the various staff people. So I think that's actually the best way. Look on the web first, see if you can figure it out. And then if you can't, go to that frequently asked questions. In general, well, I had this up. Let's see. Well, you don't care about seeing my whole PowerPoint. We're just going to give it to you like this. Okay. In general, Kathleen is the person that you should go to for questions about chorus programming. Go to me for questions about scheduling Blockbuster's overall programming, our addresses are here. The youth festival is youth@galachoruses.org. Sue Bell, bless her heart, does all the registration, housing, scholarship kinds of stuff. And then Chipper is our production manager. So that's tech and stage kind of questions. Production manager at galachoruses.org. Again, those same addresses are on the FAQ page. Thanks for joining us. I can't wait to cheer for all of your courses from the audience. It's going to be a blast. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions along the way.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Jane, one
good
more
night.
question popped up as people are logging off. And
Oh.
it's, when does the festival chorus music come out? So those people who are doing the,
Yeah, I was hoping March 1. It'll be close. It'll be close to March 1, but it'll be maybe more
Okay,
like
lots of time.
the middle of the month. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Bye, everybody.